Alright, next up on our chopping block is The Long Haul, the one they made a really good movie about. A family trip is supposed to be a lot of fun, unless, of course, you're the Heffleys. That's true, they all suck. The journey starts off full of promise and quickly takes several wrong turns. Gas station bathrooms, crazed seagulls, a fender bender, and a runaway pig. Not exactly Greg Heffley's idea of a good time. But even the worst road trip could turn into an adventure. And this one, the Heffleys won't soon forget. Alright, I pretty much know all that happens in this book because of the movie, but we're gonna read it anyway. I'll see you guys in a second. Alright, that's Star Wimpy Kid the Long Haul finished. This is not like the movie. Lots of changes were made that I just wasn't aware of. And honestly, in this one, Greg Heffley wasn't really the villain. This time, surprisingly, Susan, the mom, was the main antagonist, I'd call it. She made some unreasonable choices, some wacky parenting decisions, and I'll get into that now. Manny also was a little evil person, but that's nothing new. So the plot of this is Susan wants her family to be closer together, so without any notice at all, she forces them all to go on a road trip, which leads to some crazy hijinks going on. She really tries to make this family of people interact with each other in ways they should never be interacting with each other, which is kind of sad because they're family, but the Heffleys are messed up, man. One of the things she does is comes up with a game where it's like a Never Have I Ever, and she tricks Roderick into admitting toilet papering one of the neighbors' houses, and he has to call to apologize to them in the car, which is really awkward. But I have a list for these types of things, so let's pull that list up now and see what's going to be talked about. So off the bat, you could see that why am I still holding the book like this? You could see that there's not a lot of things I wrote down because honestly, Greg reacted pretty reasonably to the stuff that was going on. And maybe I should have written down the stuff his mom did that was sociopathic and crazy instead. I did take some notes of that towards the end. But honestly, Greg was pretty well behaved in this book. So let's go over what happened. So he has to do a little book report, and that includes writing a letter to an author of his choosing. And so he wants to do one on this parody of Captain Underpants. There's this book series in universe about some underpants story, which is inappropriate and a parody of Captain Underpants clearly. But since all the boys in his class wanted to do their report on the Underpants books, he's banned from it. So he ends up writing to an author of a book series he doesn't even read, and he leads with that in his letter. He says, "Hey, I haven't read any of your books, but I gotta write to you for a report." And he gets a message back saying the author has been long dead for decades, which is really funny. He didn't do that research. He gets some karma though, because just for fun, he does write a letter to the Underpants book author and gets a pre-written letter back. It's not personal at all, just thanking him for the fan mail and giving him an advertisement for their next book, which deserved Gregory. You don't deserve to speak to that author considering how badly you treat other authors. I'm sure you guys know from the movie, Manny wins a pig, and while the family's deliberating what they're going to do with the pig, Roderick wants to keep the pig because he thinks he'll get them unlimited bacon. Like this grown teenager doesn't understand that you cook and eat a pig to get bacon, and not that they just don't spawn bacon from being a pig, which is a funny Roderick dumb moment. So Greg ate hidden chocolates that were hidden from the family, and after they're all gone, the dog gets blamed for it. So the dog has to get its stomach pumped, which Greg doesn't come forward and say he ate the chocolate, so the dog doesn't have to go through that, which I thought Greg just didn't have empathy for people. I didn't realize it was animals as well. For some reason, I wrote, I want Manny to be the target of a military attack. I can't lie, I don't remember why I wrote that, but I probably had a good reason. He's always spoiled. I think when they were in the motel room, Manny and the pig ate all of their snacks or something. But yeah, Manny is evil. Greg values his Cheetos over his family's life. because there comes a point where he feeds a seagull a Cheeto from inside his car, and so a bunch of seagulls fly into the car's sunroof, and they trying to wrestle the bag of Cheetos from Greg's hand. And his family's telling them to just throw the Cheetos out of the car to get rid of the seagulls while they're in a moving car, by the way. And Greg refuses to let go of the snacks, causing his family to get into a car accident. I guess I should give context for number 4. They're led to believe this other family robbed them, which at the end of the book you realize they were not robbed. So they found the family's motel room and robbed them and used their bathrooms and everything. What happened was at the water park, they thought this family stole their key and everything in their locker because Greg remembered the wrong locker number, and he also couldn't find the key to the locker until he got home. Our family believes him, and when they run into the family at a motel room, they ransack them. And while they're robbing it, their dad's using the bathroom, and Greg does not look out for his dad like his dad looked out for him when he was in the bathroom. When he sees the family coming back, he totally abandons ship, runs away from his dad in the bathroom. So his dad has to run away from the family with his pants down back in the car. Since their car is in such bad shape, they need to repair it. Unfortunately, while packing, Greg replaces the car repair tools with his pillows. Greg's dad is very proud of this boat. He wants to get on the water one day. For this particular trip, they're using the boat to hold all of their luggage so they could tow it behind the car. And 2 Spanish people come to help the Heffleys out when their car breaks down. And in thanks, Susan gives them Frank's boat. She never liked the boat. She wanted to get rid of it. She can't just get rid of her husband's property. God, Susan. Because of the trip, Greg's mom wants to write a blog about her experience, and Greg says he hopes it fails, which at first I wanted to chalk up as an unempathetic psycho moment for Greg. But you know what? Susan doesn't deserve her blog to go off. She put her family through hell, and then at the end, Greg had the key to the locker all along and decides not to tell his family about it. I wrote this note on the bottom. Susan makes the family go on an awful trip with no notice at all. Greg doesn't have time to prepare, neither does Roderick. And Dad, the dad character, he doesn't get a chance to call off from work, which leads to him needing to do phone calls on the road, which Susan is upset about because it's supposed to be family time. But it's her fault for not giving him time to repair. This is his job, his livelihood. He can't just drop everything. She's lucky his job's not forcing him to stay home. There's a point where they get rid of the pig that Manny won. So throughout the entire book, Manny's trying to run away, and later on, they lock their keys in the car. So they get Manny to go into the sunroof to try to get the keys back, but they forgot that Manny was trying to escape. So Manny drives the car and crashes it into shopping carts in a parking lot. And the visual of Manny driving the car was pretty funny, I'm not gonna lie. This book was one of the craziest ones. Flat Stanley was in it. I forgot they did. They referenced a bunch of other books in this book series. In this one, they got Flat Stanley reference. They did a parody of Captain Underpants. Really funny how that one turned out. So yeah, one of the nuttiest Greg Heffley adventures, and another one down. Thank you for making it to the end. Next time, more Darwin Wimpy Kid. I don't know if we're halfway done or not.